It's pretty much a universal feeling among my generation that time has drastically sped up since 2020. Maybe it's just because we're getting older, or maybe there's a deeper meaning behind all of this. As we all know, the pandemic forced us even further into a digital world, for many creating a crippling phone addiction. And I don't think we pay enough attention to this word addiction, because other addictions like drugs and alcohol are frowned upon, but this phone addiction is so normalized that no one seems to notice or care. We're all constantly searching for that next dopamine hit, and most of the time nowadays it comes from a cheap source like scrolling on Instagram or TikTok. And that means our brains are constantly being stimulated with little to no time for rest. And that can lead to things like burnout, even though we haven't completed much actual work. A lot of us look back on our lives as little kids fondly, longing for those simpler times. But what if those times were simpler because we allowed ourselves to be bored? Let me explain. I can remember countless times when I was little, bored out of my mind with no idea what to do. And that was when I didn't have my phone to fill in the gaps. So I had to actually come up with something on my own, rather than immediately turn to mindless scrolling. As a kid, I used to hate that feeling of boredom, and we grow up attempting to get rid of that feeling entirely, filling every hour of our schedule with something to do, trying to conserve every ounce of productivity that we can, and filling in the cracks of remaining time with our phones. And this presents a clear problem. When do our brains get to truly rest? No wonder depression rates in my generation are so high. No wonder we experience so much burnout. Our brains are constantly pushed to the max and we don't even realize it. With full schedules, it can be hard to find downtime. But what would happen if we eliminated our phones from the equation? I wanted to test this out, so I set aside 2 full hours to work on editing this video. Normally with my phone by my side, I get distracted every so often and never really get into a good flow state. But without it, I was able to fly through the video and get double the amount of work in half the time. When things started to lull, instead of impulsively reaching for my phone and getting sucked in for 20 plus minutes at a time, I allowed myself to be bored and was able to just get up and take a walk around the house and come back a lot fresher than I would have been if I was just scrolling. Studies have shown that when we're bored, our brains actually enter a state where they start daydreaming, connecting ideas, and making sense of our lives. It turns out boredom isn't a waste of time, it's a window. Some of the greatest ideas and inventions in human history didn't come from being busy, they came from being bored. The idea for Harry Potter was created while bored sitting on a delayed train. Steve Wozniak built the first Apple computer while he was bored at his day job. We've become so uncomfortable with silence and stillness that even a moment of waiting feels unbearable. Try to pay attention the next time you start to feel bored. I bet you'll instinctively reach for your phone. Maybe part of the reason time passes so much faster now than it did when we were young is because of those little moments. Moments that used to be open for creativity or curiosity, replaced by a bottomless pit of dopamine. So I challenge you, next time there's an instant of silence or a small disruption of any kind, don't reach for your phone. Take in the world around you. Notice the little things like the sound of your sleeping dog or the rustle of the leaves in the wind, and be grateful for them. Because maybe time isn't moving any faster than it was when we were little. Maybe we just forgot what it's like to be bored.